All right, so guys, I welcome you all back on this chapter number 4 for accident and sickness insurance module. And the chapter number 4 is we're going to cover the insurances to protect savings, right? We've already learned insurance to protect income. We've already learned insurance to protect asset, but this chapter we're focusing on insurances to protect savings. So let me give you a brief idea about where the concept is coming. So in this one, sometimes what happens, we get bad in our health, and there are some continuous expenses. Those are tag along with our health. For example, expenses like regular prescription. Now we get diagnosed with maybe blood pressure. Now we need to take this medication every single day. We'll get diagnosed with some other problem. Now medicine is part of our routine. So this is a continuous expense. Let's say my eyesight got weak now. Now glasses or lenses are part of my life. I need to continuously, every 3 months, every 4 months needs to purchase or needs to go for an appointment or all those things. So whenever our health get disturbed, some continuous expenses tag along with our life. Those are the expenses that can deplete our savings, right? So that is why there has to be an insurance in place that can protect us from those ongoing regular expenses. That is one thing. And secondly, sometimes we also have some kind of expenses. Those are unexpected, like due to some unexpected accident, some unexpected illness, emergency illness, all of a sudden. That is not covered into critical illness plan, that is not covered into any other disability plan, but those are unexpected. But all of a sudden we want to make sure that it does not deplete our savings, we don't have to spend from our pocket. So for that, you need to protect your savings, and the insurance that help you do it is known as insurance to protect savings. What are the insurances? Health and dental insurance. It's very familiar, it's very common. Health and dental insurance, and travel and super visa insurances. These are the insurances that we're going to cover in this chapter. Those are very, very important, that can put you into an emergency situation. Like travel insurance, you're traveling to some other country, all of a sudden something happened to you. Now you don't have your health protection in US or in Pakistan. Now you need to go to the doctor, you have expenses to meet. Now where do you pay? Do you pay it from your own savings, or do you have an insurance in place that can protect you in that kind of circumstances, right? So that is what is insurance to protect saving. कोई क्वेश्चन है किसी का तो मुझसे पूछ ले regarding this so far. Anybody has any question, you can ask me. All right, that's good. So examples, that these two are the type of the ones. So you can have individual extended healthcare insurance, like आप अपना खुद का individual health and dental plan या travel insurance plan ले सकते हो, or you can be a part of a group extended healthcare insurance plan. So in group extended healthcare insurance plan, normally you are entitled and you're provided this plan from an employer, right? And employer is the main person who is into this contract. He is providing this plan as a policy owner, and the members, group members who are employees, they are the beneficiaries, they are the ones who are getting the benefits. So now this we call group extended healthcare insurance plans. Sounds good? Normally individual plans are always customized as per your own choice. You can pick and choose what benefit you want, what coverage you want. You are the owner of individual plan. But if you are a part of a group plan, then you are just entitled to receive benefit. You are not having any kind of authority to make changes. You are, unless and until you're part of the group, you enjoy the benefit. The moment you're not part of the group, the benefits are taken away from you. But individual, it's your plan, it's your home, it's your ownership. It continues until you don't cancel it. You can cancel extended healthcare insurance plan by the way anytime. You can cancel all insurance plan by the way anytime if that makes sense to you at any point in time. All right. So this is about two broad categories. You can have them individual, you can have them extended, oh sorry, group as well. Now, what are the type of extended healthcare coverage? Number one is a medical care. Number two is dental care. Number three is travel insurance. So these are the three types of extended healthcare insurance plans. Now, if you want to have an individual, you can customize, as I said. But in group, normally you are already a part of plans that your employer has decided already. You cannot make changes to that. So let's talk about what comes into the medical care. In medical care, basically, in country like Canada, where we're provided a health card, provincial health card, you know, some of our medication or some of our cost, maybe our consultation, our labs, some other things are covered on our health cards, right? We don't have to pay from our pocket. Similarly, if we have our kids and they have PR status or citizenship status before the age of 25 years, all the kids are also entitled to receive some prescriptional drug benefit as well, right? They, if you, like, when you're older than 25, you have to pay from your pocket for the medicine in Canada. But if you're under 25, then government also helps you to pay a part of your medicine while you're a child, right? Less than 25-year old. But sometimes what happens that people want to have more benefit on top of what provincial plans are not covering. Like for example, provincial plans are not covering any kind of medication for older people than 25. So then this medical care plan or extended healthcare insurance plan people can opt to buy individually, right? In this one, you can add up the coverage what your health card is not covering. On top of that, if you want some coverage, you can have your own individual plan to cover that. और सेकेंडली, लोग कनाडा में आते हैं, आने में 3 साल लग जाते हैं आपका हेल्थ कार्ड बनने में। यहाँ पे सॉरी 3 साल नहीं, 3 महीने का टाइम पीरियड होता है। देयर इज नॉर्मली 3 months टाइम पीरियड बिफोर यू गेट योर प्रोविंशियल हेल्थ कार्ड। in between that time period, it's a sensitive time period, you are not protected for anything, right? In that one, people normally have those independent plan, individual plan लोग ले लेते हैं 3-4 महीनों के लिए, कि अगर इस बीच में कुछ हो जाता है, जब तक हेल्थ कार्ड नहीं है, तो एटलीस्ट वी आर प्रोटेक्टेड इन दैट जोन, राइट? सो कवरेज जो प्रोवाइडेड होती है मेडिकल प्लान में, दिस इज एनी प्रिस्क्रिप्शनल ड्रग, डेंटल केयर, विजन केयर, इमरजेंसी ट्रैवल मेडिकल और एनी इमरजेंसी, और एक्सीडेंट, डेथ एंड डिसमेंबरमेंट। इस तरह की कवरेज जो है ना, उसमें कॉम्बो प्लान भी ले सकते हो, और आप अपनी मर्जी का भी कुछ चूज कर सकते हो इंडिविजुअल में। लेट्स से इफ यू ओनली वांट टू गो फॉर द medication coverage, you can only customize a plan that only covers you for the prescription drugs. If you want to just go for the vision, you can only choose the vision package. If you only want to go for maybe a dental, you can only go choose a dental package. But where you can choose all this, if you are going for what type of policy? Individual, not group. In group, you don't own anything, but if you're making your own plan as an individual, then you can pick and choose which features you want, which one to put in. These are the features available as whole. Now let me ask you a question, Jaya. If you want to have a plan where you want to have prescription drug covers covered, you want to have dental covered, you want to have vision covered, would that be more expensive? Or if you only want to go with just a dental plan?
It would be more expensive to have more coverage involved.
Exactly. So the more coverage in your bundle, the more expensive the plan is. Sounds good? All right. So now the next thing in this one, it's a very, very important concept here, which is known as deductible and co-insurance. How many of you have went to a pharmacy and paid a copay or paid some deductibles if you are having any kind of group plans on your individual health and dental plan? Anybody? Anybody has heard about Marine? Yes. Can you tell something about that copay or
Yes,
deductibles?
basically जिनके पास इंश्योरेंस नहीं होती, तो गवर्नमेंट उनके लिए एक ट्रिलियम प्लान करती है, तो उसमें आपको थोड़ा सा कोपे करना पड़ता है। जब वो डिडक्टेबल खत्म हो जाता है, टाइम पीरियड होता है एवरी 3 मंथ्स का, तो वो डिडक्टेबल जैसे ही खत्म होता है, तो फिर वो आपका कवर करना शुरू करते हैं। फिर वो नेक्स्ट 3 मंथ्स के लिए होता है, फिर नेक्स्ट 3 मंथ्स खत्म हो जाते हैं, तो वो डिडक्टेबल दोबारा से स्टार्ट हो जाता है।
So
तो
Marine,
दैट्स द कोपे।
that's awesome. That's the concept I'm gonna go in detail. I will explain everybody. So you pointed out that sometimes government also covers people under trillium benefit. So these are guys, these are the people who are very low income people, and you know they got into this kind of trouble, and then they cannot pay from their pocket, so they apply for those trillium benefits, and government has hard criteria to make them qualify. They qualify them, and then any point in time they can also take them off as well. That's up to the government. So but yes, on the basic level, government do provide some kind of support for low income families, but you can also have your own individual plans, and you can be a part of group plans as well. Now the same concept stays with everyone. It doesn't really matter you are covered by government through trillium, or you have your own individual, or you are part of a group. deductible and co-pay will still stay there. You know why they are mandatory? Number one reason, when you add a deductible and co-insurance, it brings the premium down for the people. First of all, that's the number one thing why that is always there. And second thing, insurance companies do not want people to make unnecessary claims. Now, if 100% is covered, then people will go every day to see a doctor. Every day they want drugs. Every small thing they want drug. That is why that is why insurance companies have added a factor of deductible and co-pay. Okay, Jaya, you want to go every day? Go every day, but you every day you are paying from your pocket some portion. So now Jaya will become a little bit okay, I also have to pay some part from that, so I cannot go like a routine habit. Like it's not like having candy and chocolate that I can go every day to pharmacy and get something for me. So that is why the co-pay and deductible are always a feature of whenever you go and buy these extended healthcare insurance, especially health and dental plans, right? So now let me help you understand what is the difference between deductible and copay. So number one thing is deductible. What is a deductible? Deductible is something that before I start receiving benefit from something, I have to pay something from my pocket. Lump sum, that is known as deductible. Lump sum means one time, upfront. Before I receive some benefit, what I pay lump sum one time upfront is known as what? Deductible. So normally in health and dental plan, there is an annual deductible. Whenever you renew, you go to the next year, you need to start paying your portion of deductible first before you start getting the benefit from insurance companies. So you paying deductible qualifies you for the remaining benefits. So, and when deductible renews every year. Mehreen, you have a question? I don't know, your hand is up. I think you're not there. Anyways, so second thing is deductible is clear, guys. Second thing is co-pay, or you call that co-insurance. Co-insurance is a part of every claim. Let's say in a month you're going to get your prescription or your vision or whatever checkup twice or three times or four times, doesn't really matter. Every visit you do where you need to get some benefit from insurance company, co-pay is every time you have to contribute something. That is with every claim. Deductible is only one time. Every year when your policy renews, you pay deductible one time and then you don't even pay in that whole year. But co-pay is something that you pay with every single claim, right? And copay can be a portion of your whole bill. Normally, the better the insurance, the higher, the more premium the plan is, the less the copay is. Normally क्या होता है 80-20 होता है 80% insurance companies pay 20% you pay from your pocket. If a plan is a little bit more cheaper, then 70% is covered by insurance companies, 30% you pay from the pocket. If some drugs are really expensive, some things are really expensive, then you pay 50% as copay and insurance company covers 50% remaining as their benefits. Yes, Marine, you want to have a question?
यस सो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि ये कोपे जो है ये बेसिकली ग्रुप इंश्योरेंस के अंदर होता है या ये जनरली हम किसी भी इंश्योरेंस में ले सकते हैं, क्योंकि जैसे ग्रुप इंश्योरेंस होते हैं उसमें मुझे ये पता है कि आप कोई भी सर्विस लेते हो, चाहे वो मेडिसिन की हो या आपके क्या कहते हैं रिहैब की हो, तो आपको उसमें 20% देना पड़ता है.
Marine, I just covered this in the beginning that it doesn't really matter you have a government plan, Trillium, you have your individual or you have a group. Deductible and copay is always part of those plans.
Okay.
You cannot avoid that. Doesn't really matter. Is it government funding or is it private or is it individual or is it your employer? They always want it. Remember, I told you the purpose. If they don't add it, then people will become habitual. They go to pharmacy every day. They want to get
Yeah.
something every day done, so they cannot leave people wild in the jungle. Otherwise they have this habit of going to pharmacies every single day because they just know that company is going to cover that. So you will find this with all plans.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so this is deductible and co-insurance. Let me read you an example that will give you. Jose's extended health insurance plan has $100 annual deductible for dental benefit. What does that mean? $100 annually he has to pay as a deductible into his plan. He must pay first $100 of dental expenses annually himself in order to get qualified for the benefits to be paid by the company after that. So deductible you have to pay upfront, at renewal every year, and then the benefits will start coming your way. And copay example is Consala has purchased an individual extended health policy, health and dental, that has 80% copay factor for dental claims. The plan pays 80% of each claim, and Consala pays 20% from her pocket for each claim. So that is how copay comes into the picture. They can also give you a numerical, a mathematical question. Hey, this is much is covered by, this is what the whole amount, this percentage is covered by the company. This is the copay, how much the insured or the client has to pay from their pocket, and they give you A, B, C, D option. So you just need to say it's a simple calculation. Okay. Any question about copay or deductible so far? This is the only important topic in this chapter, right? I'm not sure whether they're going to ask any more question, but this is the most important topic because group health and dental plan are most common in Canada. You work for employer, majority employer provide you some kind of group benefit, health, dental, and all of them have these co-pay, deductible. And sometimes people are complaining, why do I have to pay co-pay? Why do I have to pay deductible? Why is that so? Why is that so? So you need to understand the basics behind this. Why are these things in place and how they come into the practice? Before I go further forward, anybody has question? I will take question. If no, yes, Chaya, you have a question?
Sorry, can you just reiterate with co-insurance? I'm not quite understanding how it works. Or
Okay.
does it depend on everyone's individual plan, like each individual plan?
Yes, Jaya. Part to your answer is that it depends on the type of policy you have. Let's say you might have an 80% copay policy where company pays 80 and you pay 20. You might have a 70 copay policy. You might have 50 copay policy. So it, first of all, it depends on the type of the plan. But how copay comes into picture, every claim you make, the copay factor you have to pay from your own pocket. Every claim. In a month, you're going for 4 refills, you're paying 4 times. Copay is with every claim. Deductible is one time annually that you pay when your policy renews every year. Okay, so that is the difference between copay and annual deductible. Clear, Chaya?
Okay, yes.
Okay, the better the insurance company, the better the plan, the better the company, the lesser the copay portion. The cheaper the plan, the low, the low class company, the higher the copay. Similarly, if you are also if you are prescribed with expensive medicine, then they increase your copay because they can only cover you for a certain amount. If your monthly bill is $2,000 a month and you're only paying maybe $400 a month, then insurance company will put a cap. They say, hey, we can only cover maximum of $5,000 a year. Once you exceed this, then copay will be 50-50. You pay 50% from your pocket, we'll give you 50%. So that is a total discretion of the company that what kind of benefit you're trying to get out from them. But apparently, normally, if everything is normal, you're prescribed generic medication, not specific patent medication, then normally copay is 70-30 or 80-20. But let's say a doctor prescribed you a patent medication where there is no generic available right now. Now the medicine will be expensive. Now the company might not even approve you. They want you to take a pre-approval or may increase your copay. Right? So that's how it works. Now, the second is dental care. In dental care, main things you need to know about this, that they only cover routine maintenance, because people have this plan. Oh, I have a dental coverage. What is covered? What is not covered? So what is covered is routine maintenance and major restorative services. So what is routine maintenance? Routine maintenance is regular checkup, regular x-rays, regular cleaning of your teeth, maybe filling or tooth extractions. So these are the things, those are part of the routine maintenance, right? So if these are the things you want to go in your plan that covers your dental benefit, then you will be covered. Of course, there is a copay, there is a company coverage, but this is known as routine checkups. And the second one is restorative services. These are the major ones. So in restorative services, let me give you what is covered here. Just a second. Okay, so in major restorative services, now this is a work which is crowns, bridges, and dentures. Like if these kind of dental treatment you want to have, this is known as a major restorative services. This is also covered in the dental plan, right? So what is that? If you want crowns, if you want bridges, if you want dentures, so these are the major restorative services. If you have a dental plan and this is your problem, this will be covered. If anything outside this, it might not be under the definition of coverage. They might deny you because that's not covered. What is routine maintenance that is covered in dental plan is your regular checkup, x-rays, regular cleaning, regular fillings, and tooth extraction. So there is always what in place? Copay and deductible. That is always part of that. Swan bhai, the topic that I'm covering right now in this chapter, I will send you the video. You need to go over this. This is part of the question you were asking me 2-3 days back when you called me for certain things. You also need to understand and listen to this. This is very, very important. I'm covering all of that part that I told you the other day. Okay.
Okay.
So, but yeah, because you just joined in the middle, so some things might not make sense to you, but once you listen the whole lecture again, it will make sense to you. Now, going further forward, let's come on to the, anybody has any questions so far about dental health and dental insurance that we covered so far? Anybody? Kiran, Saad, Jaya, Marine, any questions so far? Clear?
नहीं मेरी तरफ से नहीं है.
Okay, awesome. So the next part of this extended healthcare insurance is travel insurance and super visa. Very, very common service, travel insurance. You know, do you guys know if you move to any other country, if you're traveling to any country, you have an Ontario health card on you. Ontario health card covers a little bit of benefit even if you get, injured or sick in, let's say, US. Still, there is a portion that Ontario OHIP card will cover. Let's say you live in Alberta or any other province, your provincial health card will cover some basic things. If you're traveling and you get sick and you incur some expenses in that country, but they will only cover the basic part. But let's say government is saying, okay, Asad, you have a health card, and if you get sick or injured in, let's say you need to use hospital services or medical services in US, Philadelphia, we will only cover you for $175. But let's say Philadelphia doctor give me a bill of $375. Then where is that $200 going from? From my pocket. If I don't have a travel insurance, right? So that's why if you want to go for a trip, 3 days, 10 days, 100 days, doesn't really matter. Always protect your savings. Because if you don't protect your saving and something happens in an emergency in that trip, your whole vacation will be converted into a depression. Do you guys agree with that? So it's always important that you cover yourself for travel insurance, because travel insurance will cover the gap. Whatever your health card will pay you, on top of that, that is going from your pocket, the insurance company will do it from their pocket. So always it's a very cheap plan. So you need to get this done whenever you're traveling. Similarly, if people are coming to Canada from Pakistan, from any other country as a visitor, they don't have any health card. You should know in Canada, the hospitalization charges for one night for visitor is, can anybody tell me how much is in Credit Valley Hospital, Trillium Hospital, Brampton Civic Hospital, one night? $5,000. $5,000 is a one night non-insurance holders visit charges if they need to stay in the hospital. $5,000. Who's gonna pay that $5,000? Of course, these are your relatives. You call them here. You will pay from your pocket, right? So that's how much expensive, and that's why we call travel insurance and health and dental to protect your savings insurance. Otherwise, it will deplete your savings in a matter of moment, right? And a prime example is myself. My baby, my son Aris, he was born in this country in 2018, and we do not have the OHIP card on us. We're only 12 days less to complete a 3 months period, and my son got born here. And after that, we need to pay $9,600 to Credit Valley Hospital. Otherwise, birth is all free in this country. But because we do not have any protection, $9,600 that we brought as a family, $21,000 together, 9,600 went just for that birth. That is how important these insurances are. And sometimes, people tell me, hey, who cares about insurances? I say, okay, don't care about it right now, but don't come to me after. My job is I need to tell you that this is what is important. But you know, time will tell you, because you'll find in your circumstances, in your surrounding, every other family, you know, comes under the burden of having these kind of things. And so this is travel insurance. Now, travel insurance covers a few things. Yes, Saad, you have a question?
हाँ असद भाई, मैंने ये पूछना था कि फर्ज करो कि जैसे मैं 5 से 6 दिन के लिए किसी दूसरी कंट्री में जाता हूँ आउटिंग के लिए, तो सिर्फ मैं 5 दिन के लिए ट्रैवल इंश्योरेंस लूंगा, ऐसी भी अवेलेबिलिटी है?
यस यस, ट्रैवल इंश्योरेंस आप 1 दिन के लिए भी ले सकते हो, आप 2 दिन के लिए भी ले सकते हो, और आप 5 महीनों के लिए भी ले सकते हो। 5 दिन के लिए अगर आप जा रहे हो, मेरा नहीं ख्याल 5, 10, 15 डॉलर से ज्यादा उसका कोई खर्चा होगा, बट दैट विल सेव यू आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी थाउजेंड्स, राइट? यस महरीन।
मेरा सवाल ये है, जैसे ओहेब है हमारा, हम जैसे यूएस ट्रैवल करते हैं फॉर एग्जांपल, ठीक है, तो यूएस पे वो कवर करता है हाफ अमाउंट, और हाफ आपने ट्रैवल इंश्योरेंस से लेना है।
ऐसा कोई वर्ड नहीं है, हाफ
नहीं
आप
है?
खुद से कह रहे हो। उनका एक
ओके।
प्रॉपर स्केड्यूल है जिस पे लिखा हुआ है गवर्नमेंट की वेबसाइट पे कि भाई हम इतना ही कवर करेंगे। वो हाफ हाफ हो सकता है, वो हाफ हो सकता है वो पांच
ओके।
परसेंट हो आपके बिल का, वो नहीं पता, उन्होंने बस उतना ही कवर करना है।
बट अगेन इफ यूएस में वो कवर कर रहा है ओहेब, ठीक
हम्म।
है, मगर और जगहों पे नहीं हो रहा है, फिर क्या करेंगे?
नहीं, वो आपका जो हेल्थ कार्ड है वो आपको आउटसाइड कनाडा कहीं पे भी कवर करता है, ऐसा नहीं कि यूएस।
आर यू
यूएस को मैंने
श्योर?
एक एग्जांपल में यूज किया। यस, इवन इफ यू आर इन पाकिस्तान, राइट,
ओके।
this is going to cover you, but they will only reimburse you the money that they have mentioned in their provincial website, that this is the amount, basic amount we will cover for our citizen, only
ओके।
for the citizen, right? Otherwise no coverage. But let's say you are in Pakistan, then maybe that amount is good enough amount. But let's say if you're in US, medical bills are massive, massive bills. So let's say people go to US, you know, Abu Dhabi, somewhere, now they're heavy bill. They're only gonna do their portion. They will pay you their portion on the reimbursement basis once you show them the bill and receipt to the government once you come back. But remaining amount, the gap, you need to pay from your pocket, or your
ओके।
travel insurance pays it.
ओके, थैंक यू।
Okay. All right. So, for example, there's a quotation in this book here. I can tell you, Alberta healthcare plan. People who live in Alberta, they are protected from their Alberta healthcare plan. So उनका एक schedule है जो उन्होंने निकाला हुआ, उसको schedule बोलते हैं. You can find out at their provincial website. So in that Alberta healthcare plan schedule, it is set up $175 for a visit to the office of a specialist in US. Let's say you are in US and you need to see a specialist. In their schedule, they have mentioned they will only pay 175 Canadian dollars. But let's say the cost paid by you to that doctor is 375. Now the remaining 200 you have to pay from your pocket, Marine. Okay, so that is what schedule means. It's found out in provincial schedule that how much your provincial plan will cover in case of an emergency. The balance you have to pay through your pocket, or if you have a travel insurance, then they will take care of it. Okay, so now let's go on to the next one. What kind of coverages are included? You mean in your travel insurance? Maybe doctors and nurses fees, hospitalization cost, medical equipment if you need to purchase as a result of some diagnosis, that is covered. Ambulance services are covered. Dental cost for an accidental injury. Suddenly, you know, you have a dental pain or accidental injury, something struck to your teeth and now it's bad, it's bleeding. That is covered. Return of the injured traveler to the province of residence. Let's say a car struck you, you know, a car hit you and you get disabled, you can't even walk. Now the cost that is incurred by bringing you maybe on a wheelchair from that country to back to your own province, that will be covered. Somebody dies in another country, the coffin cost, you need to bring the funeral back, whatever the cost, that will be covered. Let's say you miss, your flight got cancelled, you also got reimbursement of your ticket price. Let's say if it's not provided by airline, that your travel insurance will recover that cancellation of trip cost as well. If your baggage is lost during the trip, then they cover the up to certain amount of the coverage, that whatever is the price of your baggage, whatever the, you know, whole valuation of your baggage, they will cover that as well. So yeah, these are the sort of things that is covered under travel insurance and super visa sort of insurance plans. Any question, guys, about travel insurance? Pretty clear? All right. So now there are some financial institutions, they provide you credit card. And on our credit card, we also have some kind of travel or health and not health and dental, travel insurance feature on our credit cards. Some of the credit cards also have this. Or when you go to a bank, they might tell you, hey, you know what, get to our credit card. Our credit card gives you air miles point. Our travel card, our card gives you blah, blah things. So credit cards also give you some features. You need to make sure the features provided on a credit card cannot replace a proper insurance. They are only very specific. You need to look into their, they are very cheap, but at the same time, you need to look into their contract details, see what is covered, what is not, because it's a way for them to sell their credit cards, right? By helping people covering their basic financial need, they're trying to upsell their credit cards. That take our card because we can give you a disability benefit. Take our card, we can give you a critical. So but by no means become a fool of getting a coverage from a financial bank where they're trying to sell you another product and give you something as an add-on. Add-on will always be an add-on, but something of your own will always be the masterpiece. Make sure when you're dealing with your family's future, have the masterpiece, not the add-ons. Yes, if you have an add-on, take that or consider that as icing on the cake, on top, whatever you're getting. So credit cards also provide you some travel benefits, but again, you need to look into their definitions, details very carefully, what is covered, what is not covered. Otherwise, you can be easily fall into prey. You might not even get a travel insurance, and you just say, okay, I have a credit card, let me go do this. And once they file a claim, they say, hey, we don't cover this. That's gone. It's not covered in our definition. So make sure you have a look at that. The next is pre-existing conditions. So one thing you have to make sure with this travel insurance and super visa insurances and provided by individual plan or by group plans, your pre-existing scenarios are never covered. That's also true for health and dental. Let's say you want to buy an individual health and dental plan, extended healthcare plan. They will make sure that any problem that you already has for 180 days, last 6 months, they won't cover you for that. They will give you a waiting period of 6 months because now that is your pre-existing record that is available in the cloud or with the doctors. So it's an exclusion criteria. Even if you're buying your own individual health and dental, their pre-existing scenarios that you are under last 180 days, 6 months will not be protected. Anything after that or new thing will be covered. Similarly, in travel insurances. In travel insurance, let's say no pre-existing scenario will not be covered. Let's say I am visiting US and let's say I am diabetic. I take my diabetic medication, but I forgot to bring it with me. Now in US, I want to go to a pharmacy. I want to, buy a medication for that diabetes. I can buy it, but even if I have a travel insurance, that will not pay for that because that is pre-existing scenario. This is not an emergency. So travel insurance and super visa only covers what? Emergency medical scenarios. Those develop right there and then. Any kind of pain, accidents, unknown things, not known to you before, not diagnosed before, that will be covered by travel insurance, right? So that is known as pre-existing conditions. Normally those are excluded. But let me tell you one thing. There is a uniqueness about group health and dental plans. What is the uniqueness about the group plans? Those are offered to you by employer. In group health and dental plan, they cover all pre-existing scenario as well. In those plans, they normally don't ask. Let's say I have 100 employees working in my company. I bought a plan, health and dental plan for them. Now, among 100, maybe some already have some kind of problems already. But even then, if they go and see a doctor for those pre-existing scenarios, group health and dental plan are the only type of plan that also covered what? Pre-existing scenarios as well, right? So that is why I always tell my client, if you want to go for individual health and dental plan, it is very expensive, first of all, for you. And secondly, you have to wait for your pre-existing scenarios for 180 days. But if you are working for an employer and luckily your employer gives you a plan, then you are lucky because you are now protected from that plan and you are also covered for your pre-existing scenarios as well. So extended health and dental care plan are very, very beneficial if you can get them through some group plans. Otherwise, these are very expensive, and also they does not cover any pre-existing scenarios. Sounds good? This is an important point to remember. In extended healthcare plan, that group plans are more beneficial in here. All right, so yes, so there are some exclusions, like other exclusions in other insurance plans as well. Like you cannot do a self-infliction injury and then start claiming it. You cannot be injured in a war, in a terrorist attack. That those are the exclusions. But in travel insurance, there are some extra additional exclusions as well that you need to know. Is that if you are going to a hospital or doctor as a result of a hazardous activity, like you're into parasailing in US, or scuba diving, or doing some adventurous stuff, and now you get injured, or you have to visit hospital, travel insurance don't cover that. They don't cover any involvement in hazardous activities. Similarly, if you're going to a country that Canadian government has stated that this is a country people should avoid, and if you're still visiting that country, and as a result of visiting that country you get into some medical bills, that will be not covered. So make sure you'll check the list of Canada, which countries Canada has listed, that these are the countries you need to have a travel advisory. If you are getting to those countries, go at your own risk. Your travel insurance will deny the claim. All right, so these are the two things you need to know. Check the country whether that is not listed into travel advisory. Like in COVID, how Canada has listed, name the list of the countries. Hey, do not go to these countries. If you go to these countries, go at your own expense. So you need to check on those exclusions when it comes to travel insurance as well. Okay, so now the next thing is, it's important. Taxation group extended healthcare coverage. Okay, so prescription drug, I want to talk about a little bit on this prescription drug. There are two type of medications available. One medication is, we have few pharmacists sitting on the call as well, myself, Kiran and Marine, so they know it. What is a patent medication and what is a generic medication? But those who do not come from a pharmacy background or healthcare, I want to tell you, because they might confuse you by writing these words in the story. So patent, let's say there are research and development pharmaceutical companies. They research and development, they come up with a new molecule, like for example, a new thing. So let's say the company who is doing the research, they're coming with this new molecule, they will give their own name or brand name, and they will buy a patent that nobody can copyright our medication and make this in next 10-15 years. So now that is the time period where that pharmaceutical company wants to make the most profit back, what they spend on their research and development, because 15 years no other company is allowed to make that medication. So that is a brand medication, patent medication. After the patent expires, let's say 10-15 years, now other companies can also manufacture the same molecule and give them a other name. Now that is known as generic medication, right? Generic medication. So that now becomes cheaply available to people. So most of these health and dental plans, when you go and you present this, they mostly cover the generic medications, generic. But if you are prescribed from a doctor a medication that is brand, that is not generic and only patent right now, that might be very expensive medication. So these insurance companies might not pre-approve you for that expensive medication, or even if they approve you, then they give you a yearly limit that you can only have maybe $6,000 annual, or maybe once you get this 50% you pay from your pocket, we contribute 50%, then they increase the co-pay, deductibles, or deny you. So that is a difference between generic and patent brand medication. Make sure the prescription that you have with you, ask your doctors, doctor, are you prescribing me a patent or are you prescribing me a generic? Because my plan only covers generic, or my pocket only allows for generic. Can you replace this with a generic medication? Because it will be a burden on my pocket. Because sometimes doctors do have affiliation with pharmaceutical companies and they tend to rip people off as well. That's also part of their business. So they tend to prescribe brand and to people, and then it's very expensive. So make sure once your prescription is ready in your hand, you ask the doctor, hey, am I getting a generic or am I getting a branded or patent medication? Because if you ask this question, maybe now that doctor gets a little bit scared and he change your prescription to generic because now he doesn't want any complaint against him. So make sure you ask this question. That's important question to ask. All right. Dental care is pretty much the same thing. You need to know the two things that I told you. It's only covering routine and major restorative services. It also has same deductible co-insurance similar to drug plans and any other plans. Vision care, exactly the same things. So nothing much in this chapter. The only important thing that you need to know is deductible, co-pay, patent, generic, individual health and dental plan, how you can customize it, and the group plans, how you have more benefit, travel insurance. This is a very practical subject chapter. You need to advise client many things, but most likely the examiner might not test you many things from this chapter. The only thing they will test you is co-pay and deductible and a little bit here and there. So I think this concludes us. Let me see whether there is any more thing that I can touch base on this chapter. All right. Okay, that's it. I think that will conclude us for this chapter number 4. And today we're done. We've done chapter 3 and chapter 4. As I said again, exam point of view may not be very important chapters, but your practice point of view, some of the plans that we've covered are the most routine plan people ask: travel insurance, super visa, health and dental, critical illness, disability. So this module is very, very practical. This is there to protect people's income, their assets, their savings. And tomorrow we're going to cover another very, very important chapter, which is chapter number 5, insurance to protect businesses. Now, tomorrow we're going to shift our attention to the businesses, people who are running businesses, what kind of expenses they have, what kind of need they have, and what needs to be approved. By the way, tomorrow's chapter is very important also for exam point of view as well, because in business, there is some things we need to understand. So examiner always ask important things from disability in this plan and some business overhead expenses. They make and they want some crisscross arrangements or all those things. So that we will cover tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit important chapter. All right. So guys, with this, we'll conclude our chapter number 4. And I would like to see all of you back again for chapter 5. Listen to my videos, listen to this lecture, clear your concept, reach out to me if you have more questions. You can always reach out and do some quizzes at your end. All right. With this, we'll close this call. Saad, you have a question?
हाँ, वो रिकॉर्डिंग पहले स्टॉप कर लें.